Welcome back everyone, this is Mondo All Day, back to another video. And in this video, I'll be doing an overview of Green Arrow, the Longbow Hunters Saga Omnibus, Volume 1. As always, I'll be talking about a little bit of the story, the art, and of course, if it's worth your purchase or not. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button to not support the channel, but to keep up to date and watch videos like this. So let's take a look at front of the dust jacket. Pretty cool art, it's like a matte look to it. The spine. The back, and I do a full spread image of the dust jacket. Put this to the side over here. There we go. Front of the book, the spine, the back, and I do a full spread image of this very, very big book, 1,500 pages. Keep that in mind. All right. Now let's take a look at what's inside. So what is this book about? This book is mainly going to be about Green Arrow patrolling the streets of Seattle. And it's about Green Arrow being your local hero, and I mean local because, well, I'll talk about that in a bit. And so he is just patrolling the streets of Seattle, stopping crime and so forth, all while trying to live a normal life with Dina. And that's what this book consists of. The stories do connect with one another, which I'll talk about in a bit more, but that's going to be the gist of the whole entire book. It's just going to be Green Arrow dealing with local crime. And when I say local hero and local crime, I really mean that, because this book is very, very grounded. Meaning, this Green Arrow does not have any gadgets, any trick arrows. It's just Green Arrow, the Oliver Queen, with his bow and his arrow. And that's it. And so the stories on here are just, like I said, local problems, local neighborhood issues, such as he's filing or dealing with local gangs, politics, corruption, drug dealers, like small minor crimes, you know, psychopaths, your local like killers or killer of the week type of thing. And so again, it's a very, very grounded Green Arrow. And they're very, very short. I'm talking about like 2 issues or 3 issues. I mean, there's one issue where it's like, it starts off with, as I mentioned, local gang, Green Arrow gets involved, and it ends in chapter 2, issue 2. So again, they're very, very short stories. They do connect with one another, but they're really short stories. With that said, I really like this book. This book is completely unexpected. It caught me off guard. For one, the whole short stories, I did not expect it to be this short, and I actually like that because I know some of the books, they tend to drag it out too much. Here, Mike Girl did a fantastic job. Just keep going, keep the pace going. And that's one thing I like about this book, is that the pacing in here, in my honest opinion, is perfect. For example, I did a video or an overview of the Court of Owls book or storyline, which I have a link to it somewhere. And in that particular video, I mentioned about Scott Snyder having a tendency to really have heavy dialogue right in the middle of action scenes or fight scene. And to me, it kind of slows down the pace a little bit. It's like if you're in the climax of the story, or you are about to have like a huge fight, you want to pick up the pace. You want the reader to enjoy the art, really get involved with the fight. And sometimes with Scott Snyder's writing, he tends to have really long dialogue. So instead of having a one-liner like, "No, I hate you," or something like that, he really tends to drag it out. And here's the complete opposite of that, in that when there's heavy like action scenes, it just picks up and it lets the reader enjoy the art, but also get involved with the story. And that's what I like about this book, because the pacing is really, really fast. I mean, this thing has over 1,500 pages. That's a lot of pages, but I'm telling you, I read this in 1 week, and I did not feel any of the 1,500 pages. Yes, 1,500 pages. And that's what I like about this book, is that he knows that the reader gets the point or gets the gist of what's going on. Instead of dragging it out, he just, okay, keep going. That's what I like about this book. The stories do connect one another here and there, but the best thing about it is just seeing Green Arrow, or Oliver Queen, seeing him, who he is, how he adapts, how he hunts. There's some stories in here where he has to go out and hunt someone, and just seeing him be the Green Arrow, I guess you can say, that's to me the fun part. That's what I like about this book. If you are maybe interested in getting to know who's Green Arrow or Oliver Queen, you want to know more about him, this is a perfect book for you. The only thing I will say you have to keep in mind is that this is a mature rating book, and I can see why. 'Cause there's cursing, some of the themes are pretty gruesome, and some of the images you see on here, it's very, very adult oriented, so keep that in mind. But I gotta say, this is a really, really good book. The stories on here, they are a bit predictable, I'll be honest, but there's some that are a bit surprising. I'll keep it that way. And there's a cameo of some other heroes, which is not a lot, but if you read it, you'll know what I'm talking about. This is volume 1, so you can kind of get an idea how it's going to end. And I'm telling you, by the time it ends in a... It definitely ends in a cliffhanger that makes me want to just open up volume 2 and just start reading it, because it's that good. And that's something that I will also want to mention, is that the character development on here, that build up with the relationship between Oliver Queen and Dina, is just perfect. It starts off with typical couples, little arguments here and there, and it just keeps escalating and escalating and escalating. And then towards the end, I don't want to say too much, but it ends a certain way, and you're like, oh no. And by the time it ends, it ends on a cliffhanger, and I was hooked. And so I really, really like this book a lot. Did not expect it to be this good. And this book is very action-packed. So if you like action-packed comics, this is perfect for you. The pacing does slow down a little bit, but again, a little bit. And this is 1,500 pages, so it does slow down a little bit. But for the most part, though, I'm telling you, the pacing is definitely above average. The art's good. There's nothing crazy or amazing, I'll be completely honest with you. I mean, this book takes place in the 80s and 90s, which is fine, but the art is, am I going to be honest, nothing amazing to me. Like, nothing stood out to me a lot. Good art, don't get me wrong, but none of it really, like, holy crap. But it's good, though, overall. Did you have prior knowledge? Not at all. I just got this book, opened it up, started reading it. Perfectly fine. Paper quality, it is that glossy paper because it's the omnibus, so you do get the nice glossy paper, so there's that. Pacing, as I mentioned, the pacing is going to be, I would say, above average, because I'm telling you, the action scenes pick it up. There's times where I'm reading this book, and right where the climax of the story is, there's pages where there's like no dialogue. Maybe like one or two one-liners like, no, stop, or get down. But it just keeps going. And that's what I like about this book. It knows that the stories, because again, the story, there's a lot of them, they're pretty simple, predictable, but he knows that. And so instead of stretching it out, he just kept going. And that's the fun part of this book. So overall, what do I give the Green Arrow Omnibus? Honestly, easily a thumbs up for me. Fantastic book. Don't be deceived in terms of the whole 80s and 90s type of like art, because I know some of the 80s and 90s comics, the dialogue can be pretty heavy, and I'm telling you, in this particular omnibus, not at all. I mean, like I said, adult oriented. Look at this. This is pretty darn bad. So make sure you don't have any kids around you, because there are some themes on here that are adult oriented. So keep that in mind. But anyways, this is a fantastic book, man. I really, really like this book. And so once again, what do I give the Green Arrow, the Longbow Hunters Saga Omnibus Volume 1? Easily a thumbs up for me. Definitely read this. This is a fantastic book. This is perfect for you Green Arrow fans. This is it. Now let's take a look at the back of the book. Alright, this is just some extras in the back. There's Black Canary, Shadow. Shadow is a badass in this book. Oof. McFarlane, if you're watching this, we got to get a figure of her. She is a badass. Black Canary, Speedy, some sketches. Right, there you go. Shadow again. And that is that. Let me know what you guys think. Have you read this book? Do you plan on reading this book? Leave it in the comment section below. As always, make sure you hit the subscribe button to not support channel, but to keep up to date and watch videos like this. This includes an overview of the Green Arrow Longbow Hunters Saga Omnibus Volume 1. And on to the next one.